Federal prosecutors on Thursday charged 26 people who allegedly participated in fixing college basketball games. Those charged include former and current players who are said to have taken part in rigging 29 games across 17 Division I teams over the past 2 seasons. Here to discuss is the host of Can We Please Talk, Mike Leon. Mike, it's good to see you. As someone who worked in production for ESPN, were you surprised when you found out about this case?
Hey, Chris, good to see you, first off, on a weekend, right? I love it. I wasn't surprised. I mean, look, we saw a scandal unfold with the NBA recently. And when that scandal kind of broke, I used to work with a lot of the betting operators. And, I was talking to somebody high up the food chain on the legal side of one of the betting operators. And they said to me, this is what's supposed to happen, right? This is what comes with legalized gambling is the fact that there are checks and balances put in place by the betting operators to spot betting irregularities. So you mentioned the teams, Chris. I mean, some of these teams, I think the average college basketball fan wouldn't know the school. There are a lot of smaller schools within this. There's obviously some former players that played overseas, and maybe you would know them from yesteryear because one of them played at LSU and things like that. But you wouldn't probably know the schools or the players. And this is why the DraftKings, FanDuels of the world have put these parameters in place to spot betting irregularities on these small market teams, for lack of a better term. And this was caught. And the betting operators will tell you this is what happens. We work in conjunction with law enforcement. We contact the conferences and we contacted the NCAA, and we were able to, work with law enforcement and bring these people, to account.
Yeah, and basically these players were bribed like $10,000 to $30,000 to intentionally lose games or perform poorly so that the people betting against their team would actually make money to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is unheard of in these smaller teams. So, an authority has said this basically poisoned the American spirit of competition for monetary gain. I mean, sports are supposed to be this sort of idealistic space, where the best man wins. But so what does this exposure of an alleged fraud ring like this, do to that image, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it tarnishes it for sure. I think, kind of to piggyback on what you said, Chris, like if we see it at this smaller level and we see it happening with the small level and then we see it happening at the NBA level, it makes people start to question if sports are on the up and up, right? You always hear the conspiracy theories across any league, that game was fixed. This person threw that. You notice an over under, in an NBA game, and all of a sudden a person hits a 3-point shot, a meaningless 3-point shot to cover the spread, and people start to wonder. And that's what this does. This unfortunately feeds into that to tell people, oh, you know what, sports are not on the up and up and they're rigged. And I think, again, like I said, I've worked for a couple teams within the leagues. Obviously, I attended a college in one of the major conferences. One of the players in this scandal, Chris, went to Kennesaw State. Rutgers played Kennesaw State a few years ago in a game that, they weren't supposed to be competitive in. And all of a sudden, they won the game on us. So now I'm starting sitting here as a fan. I'm questioning, our players throwing some of these games. And I know name, image, and likeness is in the college space. So there are people that profit off of their name, image, and likeness, but not at these smaller schools, right? They don't have the big budgets of the Ohio States and Michigans of the world. So it leads for them to do this, right? I won't get caught. I'll go through a third party. I'll miss a couple shots. It'll look like a normal thing. And I'm here to tell you that in this era of legalized gambling, Chris, the betting operators will tell you it's easier now to catch people that are doing this fraudulently than it was yesteryear. And this is a case and example, just like the NBA one was.
Yeah, and it sounds like these guys honestly were showing their hand by placing these massive bets, not really trying to conceal. I mean, these betting markets are, I'm sure, carefully watched. So what do you think should be done to ensure this sort of thing doesn't happen again? Or are they already doing everything they can?
Yeah, see, now that's the great question, because if I had that answer, Chris, I'd be president of the United States, right? Or president of the NCAA, at least, right? I think again, and I'll echo what this person told me with the betting operators, because you get a lot of these think pieces that come out after the NBA scandal. This is what happens when you get in bed with legalized gambling. And this person said to me, no, this is exactly what you get. You get to catch the bad actors, the people that are moving hundreds of thousands of dollars on individual player props. Like you're seeing Terry Rozier here. All of a sudden, Terry's having a bad game. Meanwhile, he was called Scary Terry in the playoffs because he was known for making big shots, right? So that's what this was meant to catch. I mean, on the NBA level, I can't speak to why a person like Terry Rozier, who was making $27 million a year, would fix games, or at least try to fix his player props. I mean, how much more could he actually make? For somebody at the University of Albany, Kennesaw State, those players are not making that much, Chris. So I don't know how we level the playing field for those smaller schools. And I think we're going to see more of this. Look, my school at Rutgers, Jeremiah Davis, that was an Ohio State transfer. He was suspended by the NCAA for gambling and betting on a bunch of games. Not betting on himself. He was sitting out betting on games. I mean, if he can't do that when he's sitting out, when can he bet, right? So, I think it's a Pandora's box. We need a little bit more of the NCAA and Charlie Baker to kind of rein in and set some more parameters. And there needs to be more education to the players in the offseason of look, these are the consequences, lifetime bans, incentivize and de-incentivize people to not do these type of things and set the clear parameters and boundaries.
It's a serious crime that really damages, the public's faith in this important institution. So, Mike Leon, we do have to run. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.